Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Global Heroes Podcast.
Great to be here.
Just a quick reminder before we dive in. If you enjoy these stories and want more positive news, definitely subscribe to our weekly newsletter. It's packed with uplifting content.
Absolutely. So today we're doing a deep dive into something really important affecting quite a few post 9/11 veterans.
Yeah, traumatic brain injury or TBI.
Right. And specifically, there's often this misunderstanding about how it connects with post-traumatic stress, PTS.
That's such a critical point because, some of the symptoms, the things you see on the outside, they can look pretty similar.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so vital to get that they're actually distinct issues, different causes, needing different treatments.
It's a common confusion.
I kind of think of it like, say you have a sore throat.
Right.
It could be a bacterial thing, right, like strep. Or it could just be a common cold, a virus. You might feel tired, maybe cough with both.
Sure, similar symptoms.
Exactly. But you wouldn't just take, like, cold medicine if you actually needed an antibiotic for the infection, would you?
No, of course not. Different root cause demands a different approach.
Right. So TBI is a physical injury to the brain. And yeah, it can definitely mess with emotions, but just treating the emotions might not fix the underlying brain connection problems.
Precisely. And that's where organizations like Defenders of Freedom are doing, just such vital work.
They really are. They've been at it for, 2 decades now?
20 years, yeah. Serving veterans. And they've really zeroed in on this distinction, making TBI treatment their main focus now.
And how they got there? That's quite a story in itself, isn't it?
It really is. It shows a real evolution based on need.
So it started back in 2004 with Donna Cranston. Her son was serving in Iraq at the time.
Right.
And she began really simply, just putting together care packages for troops coming through DFW Airport.
Just a direct, heartfelt response. A classic grassroots beginning.
Totally. And that small gesture, it just grew and grew.
And as they connected with more veterans giving support, they started hearing things, seeing patterns.
What kinds of patterns?
Well, struggles that didn't quite fit neatly into other boxes, issues that seemed like they could be related to, physical brain injuries, but maybe weren't being diagnosed that way.
Ah, okay. So that led them to expand, right? Providing financial help across 32 states for wounded vets. Rent, utilities, those crucial things.
Exactly. Essential support. But it was those face-to-face interactions, listening to the veterans' stories, that really shone a light on this unmet need around TBI.
And then came a big shift about 5 years later.
Yeah, a real turning point. Donna learned about a functional neurology program, and she referred 35 veterans to try it out.
And the results?
Pretty incredible, actually. All 35 showed positive improvements. Every single one.
Wow, all of them.
Which is remarkable. And what's key here is this focus on restoring function, not just masking symptoms. It suggests, maybe a different way of thinking about treating these injuries than just medication alone.
That makes sense. Seeing that kind of impact firsthand must have been powerful.
Absolutely. It convinced Donna this approach was something special.
So that led to the big decision in 2019.
Right. Defenders of Freedom officially shifted their main mission to focusing on TBI treatment.
It's really inspiring, that willingness to adapt, to
Yeah.
listen to what veterans actually needed and change course like that.
It really is, and the feedback they get is incredible. We heard from Adam Smith, he's a U.S. Army Green Beret,
Okay.
and he just flat out called the treatment life-changing.
Life-changing. That says it all, doesn't it?
It really does. It highlights the real-world difference they're making.
And Defenders of Freedom has this really clear way of looking at TBI symptoms.
How so?
Well, things like depression, anger, anxiety, balance issues, dizziness, headaches, cognitive stuff, sleep problems, even gut issues and hormone imbalances.
A wide range.
Yeah. They see all that as the brain basically sending signals that things aren't connecting properly inside.
That makes a lot of sense, especially given the nature of blast injuries or impacts. The connections get disrupted.
Exactly. And functional neurology, that's designed to specifically address those connection problems.
Right. It's all about how the brain and nervous system work, how they function, and how they can adapt. It looks beyond just, say, structural damage on an MRI.
So it's assessing the how it's working, not just the what's broken.
Precisely. And then using targeted things, neurologic activation, evidence-based methods to help the brain essentially rewire or strengthen those connections.
What kind of methods are we talking about?
Well, some might sound surprisingly simple, like specific eye movement exercises, carefully calibrated, or balance tasks things designed to activate specific neural pathways.
Interesting. Not necessarily what you'd first think of for brain injury.
Maybe not, but they can have a really profound effect on how the brain functions.
And Defenders of Freedom is clear, you can't bring back dead brain tissue.
Of course, lost tissue is lost.
But if pathways are just damaged or maybe blocked or just not firing right, the brain has this amazing ability to heal, right? Or even create new workarounds.
That's the core idea neuroplasticity, the brain's capacity to change and adapt. Functional neurology aims to harness that.
And the results they're seeing seem to back that up.
They really do. They report that even after just 2 weeks of this focused treatment—
2 weeks? That's fast.
It is. They say every veteran they've treated experiences positive effects, starts them on a real recovery path.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And it doesn't just stop there, right? There's follow-up.
Yeah, they provide homework protocols, exercises, and things to keep that progress going, because healing is definitely a process.
Right. It takes ongoing effort. And you mentioned earlier that Defenders of Freedom sees a really serious link here.
Yes. Tragically, they believe untreated or poorly treated TBIs are a major contributing factor to the high rate of suicide among combat veterans.
Which is just heartbreaking.
It is, and their hope, a really driving force for them, is that providing this effective TBI treatment can actually help prevent some of those tragedies, give people their lives back.
And the stories from families must be powerful, too.
Oh, absolutely. There was one from the spouse of a Marine Corps veteran.
Yeah.
She described the changes in her husband as amazing, said it brought her to tears. He was more motivated, getting into healthier habits, eating better, exercising.
Wow.
She called the treatment a breakthrough. And then she said it was life-changing and life-saving. And get this, she said, "You are giving me my husband back."
Oh, man. That's profound, giving someone their husband back.
Really hits home, doesn't it, the ripple effect of this healing?
It absolutely does. And when you think about the sheer scale, the estimate is, what, over 500,000 post-9/11 veterans sustained a TBI on active duty.
585,335. It's a staggering number.
It really puts it in perspective. The need is just immense.
It really underscores why Defenders of Freedom emphasizes partnerships and public support. They can't do it alone. We need wider awareness, more resources focused here.
Definitely. And the specific results they've tracked are pretty compelling, too.
Right.
After just 10 days of treatment.
Yeah, the numbers are impressive. Like 98% report better sleep.
98%. Sleep is huge.
Huge. And a 41% reduction in depression scores. Anxiety down 87%.
87% less anxiety. That's massive.
Cognitive activity improved by 60%. Memory up 48%. Processing speed up 78%. Attention up 67%.
These aren't small changes.
Not at all. And using the standard PHQ-9 depression scale, they saw a 65% reduction in those scores. These stats offer genuine hope.
They really, really do. So if you listening want to learn more about this incredible work or maybe see how you can help,
where should people go?
Head over to defendersoffreedom.us. That's defendersoffreedom.us. You can read more stories, understand the program better, and find out how to get involved.
It's so important to support organizations like this, really understanding the nuances of TBI and making sure our veterans get the care they truly need and deserve.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive today on the Global Heroes podcast. It's been really illuminating.
Yes, thank you for listening, everyone, to the Global Heroes podcast.
And please do follow us on social media.
And you can also stream our series, It's a Beautiful World, over on Prime Video.